changing market to know and build your business. And this will help you do that. So get that book. Okay.
It's a great book.
Yeah. And read it more than once. Earmark it, highlight it. You know, it's funny. I'm actually reading a different book right now, and it doesn't matter. I'll tell you the book in a minute, but I don't know if you can see this. I highlight books. Like the way my mind works, I can't just read. Like I have like ADHD, like all the kids. I'm self-diagnosed. That's okay. But my mind wanders. And if I'm reading a book, it'll just start to drift off the page. What works for me is that I either have to read with my finger, but I started reading with a highlighter, and I highlight as I'm going through. And that's how I digest and comprehend. And I've got an 11-year-old, and he was laughing at me. He called me a menace to society. He says, "You're writing in books. You can't write in books. You're a menace to society." I said, "Dylan, trust me. I own the book. I can do whatever I want with it. 2, it helps me." So we had to have a conversation about that. But I appreciated him being like in panic stricken that dad was going to get in trouble by the public library of the school for marking up a book. But I challenge you, mark up your books, all of them, right? If that works for you. What has changed from when I got licensed to now is a lot of things. Technology is one of those big things, right? Every time I teach this class, right, I do the kickoff on Mondays. Every time I teach this class, and this will reflect with some of you in here, people will say, "Oh, I'm going to be your worst student. I just don't get tech." Is there anybody in the room that resembles that statement? Scared of tech? It's a limiting belief because there's tech everywhere. And actually what I don't like about tech, essentially it's just another 4-letter word, right? I actually don't like the word tech at all. I'm not a coder. I'm not a programmer. I'm a licensed realtor who understands the systems, models, and tools. Okay. Technology is leverage. That's what we're talking about. Leverage. How do you do things in business that make your day-to-day operations easier, deliberate, trackable, accountable, purposeful? A lot of words that mean the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what our technology, our platform provides for you. But if you believe you're going to struggle, you're going to struggle. It's like anything else. You don't think you can do it, you're going to struggle. You just think, okay, this is something I have to do, so I have to learn how to do it. And I will say, yes, for some people, there's a learning curve that is steeper than others. That's okay. There's nothing hard in what we're going to teach you. Nothing. Most of it's just fill in the blank. We can all do that. It's data processing, it's word processing, filling in a spreadsheet, right? It's the overwhelmness of running a business that challenges most people, right? I don't know whether you all realize it or not, but I want to commend you and challenge you to recognize that you are all now business owners. Do you think of yourself as a business owner? Throw that in chat. Only one person thinks they're a businesswoman? There you go. Because you are. Just because you're a licensed realtor, you don't work for Keller Williams. You may be on a team, right? You're still an independent contractor, right? You have a license that you decided to be with our brokerage because our brokerage provides you value. At the end of the day, you're responsible and accountable to yourself. And they're just going to fire you. You're going to fire yourself, right? But the onus, the job is yours. So you have to put yourself in the right frame of mind to do so. Okay. And part of that running a business is running technology, right? You guys all have one of these newfangled things? Anybody have one of these? They're kind of cool. It's called a cell phone. Anybody have one of these? Did you go to school or get a college degree to learn how to run this? Or did you just pick it up and start doing? It's a serious question. Because a lot of people will say that, yes, I just do this, right? We add apps, we figure things out, we do them. You got to do the same thing for the platforms and the tools and the leverage that we give you in the business. You can't have that indecisive going, I can't do this. You surely can. At some point in your world, most of you learn how to drive, right? Learn how to use your phone. Now you're learning how to run a business. And part of that business is technology. We provide it. So that's what this class is. This week is going to give you a foundation of how to use the tools called Command. Okay. You're not going to learn it all in 1 week. You're not. And that's okay. You're going to get the basics of what you need to do, right? You're going to work with PC coaches, if you have them in your Market Center, called productivity coaches. You're going to work with people called Market Center tech trainers, which are people like myself, but they're on the ground in your Market Center, right? If you're in Falls Church, that also happens to be me, okay? Those people are there to help you. But you've got to do some work too. That's the other challenge with a lot of people when they come into technology, is that they fail to throw themselves into what has to be done. You have to be an advocate of one, right? You have to fight for yourself. You have to educate yourself. You've got to be proactive for yourself. Nobody else is going to do the work for you. We will show you, we will train you, we'll instruct you, we'll give you resources out the wazoo, reading, FAQs, videos, training, in person, online. There's training in more ways possible. Heck, I'll send up smoke signals. You got to show up. Got to show up. You got to be present. Got to have your cameras on. That's part of showing up, right? Showing up is not logging in. Showing up is paying attention. Showing up is asking questions. Showing up is doing the work. Your first job, first and foremost, is what? It's lead generation. You got to pick up the phone, talk to people. And then you got to put that information somewhere. That's somewhere is Command. That's your part of it is your data bank. You know why we call it a data bank? Anybody?
That's the source of.
Keeps all your data.
Because that's where the money is. It's in the bank. Yeah, I'm full of terrible jokes. Sorry. Part of being an instructor. As I started by saying, I've been licensed for a long time and I became an instructor. So everything I'm talking to you all about, I come to you not as just a trained instructor of how to run a platform. I'm a practitioner. I've been involved with hundreds of transactions. I'm never a mega agent. That's not who I was. That's okay. Right? I did good business. I didn't build a team. I didn't want to. It was my choice. And then I got into training and instructing and coaching because it fit a life need for me, right? That's the other great thing about Keller Williams and real estate is that it provided me a living and an opportunity above and beyond transactional business. There's a lot of opportunities in real estate. Building your business is important first and foremost, but there are other opportunities that present themselves: coaching, training, instructing, ownership, partnerships, right? All kinds of things. Investing, independence, financial wealth, profit share. In the world, do you allow yourself to do those things? And that was something I needed for me. Single dad of 2 boys, so who traveled for sports. So holidays and weekends dissipated because I had to be with them. Coaching and training allowed me to personally grow and do some other things. And it's kind of how I got into the role that I am with you guys now. I do these coaching and training for the Falls Church KW United Market Center. And I oversee a program called the Market Center Tech Trainer Program for the entire region. So I will train. You may see me at different classes in different market centers or working with them. I get out and about a little bit. And I help oversee a team of other market center tech trainers that are on the ground in the region. Those are your people. We'll kind of go over that. So that's me. That's Command. That's where we are. This is why. So we're going to start some things over this. We're going to tell you what this week's going to look like. So it's a series of 2-hour classes, 9 to 11. You do want to be here every day. They are recorded. I say that now, but yet somebody will ask me today, tomorrow, and every day this week, is it recorded? Yes, it is. We'll put it on YouTube. Give us about two days to get everything processed. You'll be given an email at the end of each day. I'm going to show you slides. You're going to want to write things down. By all means, please do. Take pictures of the screen. By all means, please do. We will also send you the slides, so you have them. Okay, but we all process and digest things differently. Not a problem. But I do ask that you engage. I do ask that you raise your hand. I do ask that you ask questions. I do ask that at the end of each day, when we say, hey, here's what's going to make your next day successful, that you apply the time to take action to springboard into the next day. Can we all agree to do that?
Yes.
All right. So before we jump in,
Yes,
any questions?
not at this time.
All right. So Command, right? It's a platform that we run in our business. Let me just kind of start with a couple slides here. Share my screen. Uh-oh, hold on. See, it's Monday, even my own computers go wonky sometimes. All right. Even the best practitioners, tech happens, not gonna lie. Especially when we're live. Turn my screen. Let's try this again. Someone's got to change the batteries on that smoke detector.
Oh, you know
Yeah.
what? I think that's me.
That's all right. At least it's going off now and not 3 a.m. like they normally do.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that the absolute truth?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Orientation. There we go. We just kind of covered some of that. Awesome. So I mentioned there are market center tech trainers in each of your market centers. We're going through some transition, but on this screen, you will see most of them, right? We're in the process of turnover for some of them. But take note of your person. If there isn't somebody listed as of yet, check in with your market center ASC, which is your front desk person, your DFI, ask your team leader, be like, hey, Dave, going through Dave's classes. He said at the end of the week, I should be going to meet with somebody to kind of fill in the gaps. Who should that be? Right? Ask those questions. And that's what I mean. At the end of this week, you're going to have questions. Schedule one-on-ones with your market center tech trainer. Starting just to kind of fill in the gaps. Because you're going to have questions, as you should. Okay. We're going to start in what we call My Command. So part of the journey for Command is that it started a little while ago. Right. So we had a platform that we built in business that was called eEdge. And it was partnered with another company called Market Leader. And
You said,
what's that?
did you say market leader?
Market Leader was a company we were partnered with. What the heck just happened there? Market Leader was a company we were partnered with back in 2008 through about 12, maybe a little earlier than that. Okay. And like a lot of things, when you have third-party relationships, companies tend to acquire other companies. Market Leader was acquired by a company called Zillow. Maybe you heard of them. I heard of Zillow.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Awesome. Nice. Awesome. All right. So that was one of the things that happened to KW early on to kind of set the foundation is why do we build our own platform? Because Command is actually owned and operated and built by KW. Nobody else has it. It's not an off the shelf, it's not a pre-packaged product. It's developed and owned by KW, which is important because we're the only real estate company in the world that has built their own product. Everybody else buys something from somebody else, which puts their data integrity at risk to be acquired by companies like Zillow, which want to put you all out of business because you didn't know that. Facts. Okay. So step one is we have to set the things up. So that's kind of what today's class is all about. It's walking through what platforms do you have at your disposal and what do you need to do to set yourself up for success. Now, most of your market centers have run your initial setup through a partnership with a company called Scott Lowery Marketing. They're fantastic. But they fill in the blanks and do some of the temporary things for you. But I need you to know where these things are, right? So you can tweak them and update them. So we're going to start with that first. So what I want you all to do is log in to mykw.kw.com.
My KW. Okay.
Put this in the chat, mykw.kw.com. Every time you log into something KW related, except for your email, we'll get to that, your user ID and password works. Works for Command, it works for Connect, it works for your mobile app, it works for MyKW. You all have the user ID and password, and it was all given to you. You should all have that at this point in order to log in. If you do not, fortunately, I can't chase that down for you right now. Okay, but I will show you how to reset it and do different things with it right now. But your MyKW was our original platform. There are still some things that we do here, although after today and maybe some updates, you won't go here often. But I do need you to be aware of it. Okay. So first thing that we're going to do in here, I'm just going to go to my market center, is everybody here? Give me a thumbs up on the screen. All right. You're going to see if your picture's in the system. If not, you'll see your headshot and your name. And right below it, it says profile. Does everybody see the word profile on the screen? Or if you're just following along, that's okay too. Remember, this is recorded. Once you go to profile, because in order to show up online for different things, you have to have your online content ready to go. So this is one of the internal pages that we utilize to populate your, what I'll call your digital twin, your online likeness, right, across the ecosystem. So first at the top, there's an update your photo. You're all going to need a picture. Okay. I challenge you all to get professional pictures. Talk to your market center. They sometimes bring people in. It's like $85 to $100. They'll give you a couple different sizes and different pictures. And it's important to have marketing material. I don't put pictures on my business card. That's not who I am. But you do need things for online because people are going to look you up. And I know that can be scary and security, and I'm sensitive to that too. But you do need a picture. It's okay to start with a picture from your phone because the quality is usually pretty good to get something started. But do yourself a favor. I'm very cheap, especially for new agents. I don't want you spending money if you don't have to. You are going to need some headshots. So get that squared away. Okay. Then as you scroll down, literally a series of boxes. Fill in the blanks. Name, email address, phone numbers, right? Straightforward. You're going to come to a thing called a bio, right? Y'all going to want a bio. People are paralyzed by fear. What do I do with a bio? Okay. Well, you do a couple things. But really, it's your first chance to communicate with people, consumers, and other agents, okay, about who you are. Here's the great thing about real estate. We all, every single realtor you've ever met or look up to that's incredibly successful started in the exact same place. 0 transactions, none, right? They all worked and built their businesses. And that's the great thing about real estate because you can start at any time. So your story, your communication to the general public about who you are has nothing to do with what you've done historically data-wise to let them know you're a good realtor because you don't have any success history that way. So your bio reflects who you are. What are you involved with? Where'd you go to school? What's your hometown, right? How are you going to, you're looking for a reason to connect with somebody. So you're telling a story. Now, over time, that story's going to change and you'll be able to shout your successes in your bio. But in the beginning, I grew up in Jenkintown. I went away to college, right? I worked in hospitality, right? I lived in Arizona. I now live in Virginia. I got a couple of kids. I'm involved with hockey. I play golf. I like to chef. I'm an amateur pit master. You're looking for reasons for people to connect with you. That's what your bio, that's what your online presence is going to do for you. You got to have one. Okay. Now in KW system, you're actually going to have 2. One is going to be for the general public, and one is going to be for other agents inside of KW's ecosystem. Now, when you're incredibly new, that story's the same. Okay. Then as you grow and you do business, they'll kind of change like 2 different paths a little bit. One will be for the consumers that will have your background and your history and tout your successes. Okay. And then the other, which will have those as well, but there'll be more things that you start to do in the KW world. Maybe you're on the ALC. Maybe you've become a coach or a trainer. You've been to Ignite. You've been to Bold. None of these things might make any sense to you yet, but over time they will. And other agents look for other agents with like-minded. So if you've been to Bold 10 times, or if you're former military, right? Those are things that we can find out about each other above and beyond production. So that's why you will have 2 stories about yourself. And I'll show you where they both live. Every day we'll go through things, but start thinking about that that those two stories will diverge. Marlena, what's up? What can I help you with? You're muted.
Is there still Ignite in Virginia? Because I tried to look for a class online and I could not find any.
All the market centers typically do them themselves. We don't do them at a regional level. But
Okay.
the whole market center they should have Ignite at some point in time.
Okay. Thank you.
So, talk to your leadership team. And I do know at the end of the year, right, some of them are building their calendars for next year.
Okay.
Right. I know in Falls Church, we have it about every 6 weeks.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Absolutely. Good question. All right. So
have
the
a
rest of the
question.
pages. What's that?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Well, I actually see the answer in your bio. I was just curious, do you recommend like referring to yourself in the third person in your biography? Like
I
I
do.
see yours, so I just wanted to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, that's personal choice. Depending on, and if you look at, like, if it's on my website or my bio or place where they found me, I might say I. But if you're leveraging a third-party platform like Zillow, like there's a lot of places where you can put your stuff out there for free, I might reference myself in the third person as David. So think about where they're looking at this information, right? Because you have a lot of places, like we're going to talk about KW's platform, I might use I, right? And I will challenge you, there are a lot of free places that will publish you, and you might use yourself in the third person. That's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. As you're working through a couple of things you may want to know, like, so there's a display URL, just put your name in there, no dots or dashes. That's your KW bio page that will show up on kw.com. So that's what this is right here. For display URL, just put your name. Right? Don't get cute. Don't be like first world's best realtor. Don't do stuff like that. It's hokey. Shy away from that stuff, okay? Specialties. I kind of put some in here, some examples for you guys. You may not know what your specialty is yet, and that's okay, right? Everybody has a niche inside the market. Some people might focus on military, some people might focus on seniors, some people might focus on investing, some people might lean towards commercial, some people might lean towards farms and ranch, some people might lean towards land, some people might focus on condos and townhouses, depending on where you're doing business, right? So that's kind of like what you would put here, right? But in its general terms, first-time buyers, relocation, second homes, luxury homes, there's some sort of combination of it. It can't be everything to everybody, but those are some examples of what might work of who you are. And again, that'll change over time, the more business you do based off of where you are in the region, right? Different parts of Virginia, like if I'm in McLean and Falls Church, I'm not doing farms and ranch, and I'm probably doing very little land, but I might be doing investing. I might be doing military or PCS, right? I'm probably working in some sort of luxury because everything is practically luxury at that price point. Right. If I'm down in Roanoke or I'm out in Loudoun counties, farms are more prevalent, more land is more prevalent, right? Horses, like those things will apply depending on who you are and where you are. That will change. Okay. Social media, you got to have it, right? Social media is an incredible asset for you guys. I don't care what your personal feelings about Facebook is, get over it. It's a database. It's an incredible resource for you. Incredible resource. I don't talk about that every day. Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, whatever it is. At a minimum, do Facebook. And you're going to have a Facebook business page. We'll talk about that. But if you don't have one, you have to have one. And yes, you have to have a personal page in order to have a business page. Can't have one without the other. Okay. People share their lives on Facebook and other platforms, right? They give you incredible information and insight as to who they are and what they're doing or about to do. There are leads all over the place because of what people say on those social media platforms. The question is, are you paying attention? And are you skilled enough to take action? So get over your personal feelings about social media and recognize that you're a business owner, and business owners have to lead generate, and you can lead generate through social media. Anybody want to challenge me on that thought? You're
Absolutely not.
okay.
I don't want to
Mindset.
challenge. I don't want to challenge, but I'm a like I guess a living testimony of it. I go really hard on social media and my account was hacked. I lost all my followers, so I'm rebuilding from the ground up. But I will personally tell you all that I've had 6 sales directly from social media. So this is just coming from, you know, agent to agent, realtor to realtor. If you're not using social media, it's like the new door knocking. You're really missing out on a lot. So I would just encourage anybody, if you have a fear or anything, just get out there and do it. So that was just my 2 cents.
Thank you for sharing that, because it's one thing for me to say it, and I have those same personal examples myself, but for other people to hear it from each other carries a lot more weight. It just does. So thank you. Right. And I want you to be clear. I still believe, and what you would call it Buffini, I call it sphere-based business. I believe in relationships. That's my business model. Sphere-based business. Okay. Social media allows you to get up close and personal with those people in your sphere. I'm not talking about 10,000 people wide. That's hard to manage. I'm talking about your advocates, the people you're friends with, right? It's very easy to stay in touch that way. It's better to pick up the phone and talk to people still, right? I challenge you, but there's a lot of information out there. Take advantage of it. Thank you, Whitney. Appreciate you. All right, so you're just filling in the blanks here, okay, guys? I'm not going to show you how to build a business page. I'm not going to show you how to do TikTok. We're not going to teach those things today. If you don't know how to do those things, there are plenty of people in your market centers that are doing those. There are classes going on in your market center. There are people that are doing them. They will help you. Talk to your market center tech trainer. Like, hey, if I'm interested in building a Facebook business page, one, you can just Google it. What do I post? How do I post? Those things are available. Don't be scared. Fail your way forward. Right? Because that's what happens to all of us. You don't lose by trying. And yes, when you do it successful, as Whitney brought up, you might get hacked. Right? That's an unfortunate truth. Our emails get hacked. Our social media profiles get hacked, right? So those things happen too. And it's a hardship. However, it's price of doing business. All right. So that's this profile page. So one of your action steps for today, fill this out. Just go back in and fill it out. Whatever you didn't do right now, just fill it out. All right. Now, I'm going to share something else with you right now. Marlene, is your hand still raised or did you just not lower it? I think she just didn't.
I forgot to lower it. How do you do that?
Same place where you raised it. If you go to the
Oh,
bottom.
just say lower. I got it. Thank you.
Yep. Remember, all these links I'm giving you, I'm going to give you in a slide deck, but if you want to bookmark them, please feel free to do so. The next one I'm going to give you is called answers.kw.com. This might be the single most important link that I give you. Answers.kw.com. And here's what it is essentially. It's Google for all things KW command related. Okay. Answers.kw.com. It's just Google for command. You can look up every question. And remember, we talked about being a self-advocate. This is where you need to go first. Right? If you heard something in class, if you learned about something, or if you're not sure, go here first. Because here's what happens. Okay, I'm gonna be very real. I get emails and calls and texts all the time from people not knowing how to do something. And they're waiting for me to show them. Time is hard. I have 4,500 agents in the region. Okay. Market centers average a little less than 200. In our region, they go anywhere from 75 to 300. So there's one person to answer those questions. Go look for yourself. Because here's the truth. At first, I used to try to kill myself to get back to everybody as fast as I could, which was impossible. But what started to happen was when I didn't respond to somebody for an hour or 3, when I finally did, do you know what the response was? I figured it out. So I started realizing people have the aptitude, they just have to have the want. So I challenge you all, have the questions, have the good questions. Go here first. If you can't figure it out, then go find the people who can help you. Market Center Tech Trader, others that are doing it. There are 3 things that fall into Command's world of educational and understanding of where the questions typically come from, okay? 3 buckets. 1, you're new and you don't know how to do something. That's education-based. That's 80% of the questions that I get, maybe more, is somebody still just not sure how to do something because Command does so much. I get it. It's not a problem. Go here and look it up. There's probably an article. We update articles every single day if something needs to be updated, right? Some haven't been touched in a year because no changes have happened. But the moment something changes, the moment we improve something, there's a new supporting article for it. Okay. 2, the next question. Command is not doing XYZ. Well, the answer is maybe not that it's you don't know how to do it yet, but maybe command doesn't do what you're looking for it to do. Right? Command is still in development for some things. We're constantly improving it. We're constantly adding new things to it based on user feedback. Agents will recommend, agents will look for it to do certain things. So we're able to say this truth. Command was built for real estate agents by real estate agents because they provide us feedback. We roll things out, they provide us feedback. Agents that are doing certain things at a high level, I'll put into labs to be beta testers, right? You don't have to be a technological person to be in a beta test. We're looking for you to be in a productive form of business, regardless of skill set and level, right? This doesn't just go to the rainmakers. We're looking at people at all levels of business to test things out for us and give us live feedback. Not everybody wants to do those things, but that is an option for you, okay? 2, I'm going to give you this other link. I'm going to put this in chat for you. Okay. Ideas.kw.com. That's where you can go and put suggestions, or you can look up suggestions. If you think you have something that's an original thought, go there, look it up, see if anybody else thought of it, and you get to vote for things. I will tell you this truth. Gary and Jason and the leadership team, Sajik, they look at this quite regularly. What are the agents asking for that we haven't provided yet? What's their itch? What's bothering them? What do they need? And how quickly can we roll it out? So that's research for yourself through answers.kw.com, providing impact and feedback about what you want, ideas.kw.com. And third option, the question, something's not functioning as intended or it's broke. That happens too. My favorite term is tech happens, right? Tech happens. Sometimes you just need to walk away. Sometimes you need to power down. Sometimes you got to log out. You got to do all your own personal troubleshooting things that we all know, right? Do you ever call your phone support and what's the first maddening thing that they ask you? Well, what I need you to do is power down your phone and click reset, right? You're like, no, I did all those things. But you got to do all those things. Right? You got to do those things. Then if you're truly still stuck and something's broken, talk to your Market Center tech trainer. They may be aware of an outage or something or that you could do. Third, you can provide a support ticket. So on answers.kw.com, if you're on that page right now, there's a submit a request at the top right-hand side page. And basically ask you serious questions. What are you doing? What's not functioning? It'll give you help articles to maybe troubleshoot what you're trying to do. Obviously, we're all used to that fact base. Like, no, I know that's not what I'm looking for. This is broken. Here's the applet. Here's what I'm trying to do. Here's the screenshot. Here's my description. And sometimes we will ask for you for a little screenshot video, which is always the best thing to do, because it's hard to replicate your experience. Don't take this the wrong way, but we as people are not great about explaining what's wrong. I can't tell you how many times I got an email and it's like, command's broke. Well, command does about 4,500 different things. Can you be a little bit more clear? Right? So what I will ask, and your Market Center tech trainers will ask, and support will ask for you, can you provide a video? I'm going to give you a tool. Okay. Loom, Loom.com. It is free. Loom.com. And I will tell you, you may find a way to incorporate this in your business, because I use this all the time. It's just screen recording, right? It allows you to walk through what's going on your screen, talk to it, record, and tell us what you're doing. So we can actually see what's happening. How's the system reacting? What are you doing that's leading to the challenge? And that is an easier way for us to diagnose what's wrong. So loom.com. And I use it all the time. People ask me questions. I use it for redirect. I use it for consumers. I show people how to do things. It's a great tool for your business. So something else, it's on, you can have it on your phone and on your desktop. All right. So answers.kw.com, that is your Google, right? That's where you go to do self-advocacy research. Your Market Center tech trainer is there for additional level of support and help and training to get you successfully growing your business to an additional level. Ideas allows you to provide input, okay? And support is there for those days when things truly aren't functioning. Something's amiss. Sometimes they're global issues. Sometimes they're specific to you, right? You got to understand the world that we're in. Apple, PC, cell phone, right? There's all kinds of different things, and it might just be unique to you. Don't ever assume. You know what happens when you assume? Anybody?
You did it wrong.
You know what happens when you assume?
Make
More-
an ass out of
Make
you
an
and me.
So,
See, Nell's laughing, but she doesn't want to say it. Right? You make an ass out of you and me. That's my dad's favorite saying. 72 years old, he still likes to say that. Right? Don't ever assume. Don't assume that the issue is somebody else's problem. Don't assume that it's being taken care of. We actually need all of your feedback if something's not functioning, because that helps us determine how vast the actual issue is. It's based on the number of people that reported outage around something or a challenge around something. Okay. So don't be afraid to provide the feedback. Don't be afraid to be like, well, maybe I did something wrong, or maybe somebody else will take care of it, or don't ever do those things. Just provide. They will respond. And the great thing about that is, if once you spend a ticket, is as they make changes when there's a challenge, they're going to update you. Yes, this was an outage. Yes, it's this. Have you tried this? They need your feedback. We need your help. All right. All right. So any questions on those side of things, right? Answers.kw.com, ideas.kw.com, any of that. We good? All right, awesome.
Good, thank you.
I'm going to give you a couple of more resources here, right? Today's the resource day. Tomorrow and the rest of the day is just more training. Today's resource is self-advocacy day, okay? We have a Facebook group for the Virginia region that's tech-based. Here's what I'll ask you, right? This is a quick way to get yourself banned from my channel. Don't come in here advertising your business. Don't come in here advertising listings. Don't come in here advertising your open houses. This is not for that group. I'll take your post down. This is, how do you do XYZ? How's this working? What new in technology? We're going to post training videos. I post stuff almost every day of how to do certain things. I will post if there are outages. I will post new releases. I'll put it on this page for you. So ask to join this group. I'll approve you, right? And go there as a one-stop shop for answers and training. And it may be me answering, it may be another agent answering. If you know an answer to something, somebody asks a question, provide the answer. Right? It's an open source for all of you, okay?
Sir,
Yes.
Thank you.
how do we join that? Where do we ask?
Well, go to the page that I just put into chat,
Uh-huh.
and it'll ask you a series of questions like, what's your market center? Who's your team leader? And then it'll just come, and then I'll approve you.
This is on Facebook, correct?
That's correct. That's the link is in chat. So if you just click the link,
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
absolutely, absolutely. And sir's my father, by the way. Don't call me sir. I was never an officer. I was a grunt in the military. I was never an officer. All right, I'm going to put another couple of groups inside of Facebook for you, or inside of chat for you, just so you guys know. There's a lot, again, self-advocacy is important, right? Agents are always talking about different things about command. That I want you guys to be like, hey, let me see what's going on, right? David hasn't posted something, doesn't mean something's not going on. I just might not have been able to get ahead of it yet, right? So there are other resources for you to kind of go around and see what's happening. So I'm putting a couple other Facebook groups here for you, pages for you to join, and they're all in chat right now, okay? Oh no, not this last one. This last one is not for you guys. Sorry. That's a labs group, I think. Maybe not.
Okay.
Okay. Now another page I'm going to give you. YouTube. This is the YouTube. The last link I just put is the Regions YouTube channel. All of these classes are recorded and posted to the YouTube channel. You can go back and watch. I actually have every class for the last 3 years posted by month on this page. You can go back as far as you want. What were they talking about in command in January of 2020? It's there. I don't know why you would, but you know, it's fun sometimes. That's there. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's a gentleman named Marty Miller. He's a good friend of mine. He's in the middle of doing what's called the Command 66-Day Challenge. So every day he puts out a 5-minute video of how to do one small thing in Command. So I just put that in there for you. And I also share that on our Facebook page. So it's there too. You can do a little bit each day and get better. All Those are all just day one links that I want you guys to have, okay? So click and follow and subscribe. Now I'm gonna close some of these out so I can scale down my bandwidth. Did everybody get all those things? Any questions on any of those different pages or links that I just shared with you guys? Kind of get the point that I'm coming with, that there's a lot of advocacy channels for yourself, right? There's a lot there. Heck, you can even just go to YouTube and search for a topic, and there's probably an agent that's done some training on it somewhere. Like, there's a lot of material out there. Some people learn by reading. That's why I gave you the answers.kw page, right? That's a lot of fact-based, step-by-step material. Some people like to chat with other people. That's where the Facebook stuff comes in. That's great. Some people like to watch videos, right? That's where the YouTube stuff comes in. We all learn at a different level. It's important that you know through KW, there are a lot of different ways for you to adapt and look at those things, okay? All right. All right, so now we're going to go to another page, okay? This is a KW provided page. I want you to go there now. I'm going to put it in chat. kwconnect.com. kwconnect.com, and it's on the screen too. So if answers.kw.com is essentially Google for KW, okay? Command, kwconnect.com, it's kind of like our own personal YouTube channel. There's a lot of video training and live training that takes place on this platform, okay? We provide training at the regional level. We provide training at the local level. KWRI provides training at the international level, and that happens here on Connect, okay? So I'm going to show you a couple pages on Connect that I want you to pay attention to and bookmark, right, that you can go back to. But all these things just kind of get a little bit into your processes each day about where you're going, how do you pay attention to what's happening, right? So that first page, when you come in, we'll kind of bring you here. There'll be articles, there'll be videos, there'll be new releases, popular trainings, what other agents are talking about that you'll start to hear about as you get comfortable, pre-recorded classes that were popular on-demand training. They're all at the click of a mouse right here on kwconnect.com. Popular videos, some hype videos, and it's not all technology based. That's important to know. When you come here, this is more of a business element, right? You know, how to do $11.5 million in my rookie year, right? What systems was this person using through lead generation and tools, right? Find the one hire, right? That's how do you build a business? That's career visioning. That's how I find that right administrative person. It's not tech based, right? Market updates. Those are national, but it's Jim talking about national updates. What are your local market updates, right? Those are what the things that your consumers need to know about. So just remember, different platforms, different channels, different conversations. But where do I go? And you can sort by different things. Again, overwhelming because there's so much. Give yourself time. Okay. Highlight a couple of things on this page that I want you to take a look at over time as action steps. Okay. One, under technology, so don't click on tech, hover over the word tech across the top. Okay. There's a command your business. Okay. And when that opens up, it's going to just kind of break command down into a series of different videos that are provided by KWRI that aren't as up to date as some of the things that I'm giving you, but they're more like, how do I do things in a smaller bite-size thing? On-demand training through a very small lens, very general. Again, some people like these larger formats. Some people want quick hitters. That's why Marty's 60-day, 6-day challenge is so great. That's why these are great. They're different ways for you to adopt and learn the platform. And it's most of you, I don't know if you realize this yet, but KW is recognized by Forbes magazine as one of the top education companies in the world, not just for real estate, business period, because we train so hard. So That's why there's so much. All right. So Command Your Business is one of those things you do kind of take a look at. Okay. If you hover over the word resources, again, hover, at the very bottom it says welcome new associates. Okay, you're basically going through a welcome new associates class right now. But again, if you want to go at your own pace and look at different things, you can come here and check things out. I can't cover everything. I cover a lot of things, but this kind of gives you some of the vernacular, right? Somebody, Marlena was asking about Ignite. What is Ignite? Some of you don't know, right? Bold. I don't know what Bold is. I don't know what MAPS coaching is. It talks about those things, right? My business toolbox, profit share, things you want to learn about, health and vision. There's an avenue to get benefits, right? These are things that resources for you just kind of go check these things out. I don't have answers for all these things, but I just want you to know where to go, right? How do I fill out my white pages? Well, we just talked about that, but here's another step-by-step. They all end up tying back to one place usually, which is answers.kw.com, right? They're very good at integrating things on the back end, but multiple platforms to go look at information. All right. Any questions on kwconnect.com? Throw yourself in there, budget some time, plug around and see what's there, right? Again, that's something over time you'll get more comfortable. All right, let me just see where I'm at on my slide deck. All right, we're going to do an exercise. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second. We're about 1 hour in. We got about 1 hour to go, but now we're going to do a little exercise. I want you all to get your cell phones up. You may have done this already, but I have to do this in every class. I want you to all get your cell phones. Okay. You're going to download 2 apps. You might already have them, but if you haven't, then you're going to do it now. Okay. First app that I want you to download, I want you to go in your app store. So it's either Google Play Store or the Apple Store. Doesn't matter depending on what your product is. Okay. I want you to look for KW Command Mobile. KW Command in your app store. It's going to be a red icon with a white KW.
With a white kid.
It's going to be red with a white KW. I can't see your screen. Could you? Yeah, that looked like it was it, but just so you have a blurred light, I can't see it. But that's it. Red KW with a white logo. I want you to download that.
I have.
And if you already have it, great.
Yeah, I already have it too.
So that's going to be your access to your command dashboard through your phone. We're going to talk more about that tomorrow, but I want you to have it. Okay. So I'll give everybody give me all thumbs up or chat when you guys, if everybody has it. If you don't know how to put your thumb on the screen, you can do that by the bottom of your screen by reactions, right? There's a reaction button and you can put your little thumb up on the screen, or you can just put your thumb in front of the camera. Or you can put little celebration things. I like that. Or you can put a little heart. You love everything that I'm talking about. Or if you just think I'm absolutely crazy, then there's that too. Or if it's Monday and you realize, you know what, I just need some coffee. Yeah, I need a warmer. All right, so is everybody there? Everybody has Command Mobile at this point. Fantastic. Second app that I want you to go download, and you might have this already, I want you to look for is your KW Realty app. Right? That will be a white icon with the red KW in it. White icon with a red KW in it. Okay, you might already have it. Now, there is a distinguishable difference to the 2 apps that I just asked you to download. Okay. One is your Command Mobile app, which gets you to your database, allows you to call people, send text messages, check tasks, check opportunities, all those things we're going to talk about this week. Your KW Realty app is search. This is not what you're going to use per se. It's what your consumers are going to use. Your consumers right now are using Zillow. They're using Redfin. They're using Realtor.com. You want to get them to use your platform, your KW Realty app. Okay, so when you download the app and it's going to ask you to create an account, and I want you to do that. Okay, it is not know that you are you. It knows that it's a real estate search app. Okay. It knows that you're going to want to search for real estate. It's going to ask you to create an account. It doesn't know that David Donaldson is a realtor with KW until I tell it. And then it's going, once you create an account, it's going to ask you to log in and create. I challenge you to use an email address that's not your KW email address.
Mhm.
Use your free Gmail or something like that. Just kind of separate it so you don't confuse yourself. And it's going to ask you to create a user ID and password. It will not recognize your KW user ID and password. You can make it the same. I don't care if that's easier for you, but it doesn't know that you are you. That's first and foremost. And then you're going to have to choose a realtor. When it gets to the point of choosing your realtor, choose yourself. You need to choose yourself. Okay. And if you already have the app and you haven't chosen a realtor, across the bottom, there's a more button. Under that more button, you can select choose your realtor at the top of the page. So I all want you to go through that process right now. And I want you to all have that. And I want you to all create an account. And I want you to all choose yourself as your realtor.
Okay, so I already had mines in here, and I guess when you go here to more, it does already have my name and your agent
Then
and
you're,
mine.
then you're good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mine
Yeah,
is good.
if you are already there, you're fine. If it's somebody else, you can change it. I've had some agents end up with somebody else sometimes. But if there's nobody there, choose yourself. If you are there, you're already there, you're good. Now, part of your action for today is, okay, leaving this class, because tomorrow we're going to do some other things. I'm going to show you how to share that app with your consumers, but I want you guys to get comfortable utilizing the search app. I want you to go in there. I want you to look at properties. I want you to save properties. I want you to troubleshoot your way through it. Right? I'm not going to teach you how to use it. I want you to be an advocate for yourself. I want you to go search properties. You've all done it on different apps, right? So don't handcuff yourself because you've got a resource in me or your Market Center, Tech Center. Go figure it out. Search for properties. Here's what I'll tell you. This is important to know. You could search by school. You could search by school district. You could search by location. You could search by city. You could search by country. Okay. It is not local to you. This is important. This is a big deal. And this is a reason why you tell your other consumers to use this. They can search for properties everywhere and anywhere in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And when they do that and they ask for information, you get notified. So if they're looking at a property in Reseda, California, right, I get notified. Now, I can't sell them a property in Reseda. I can send a referral their way, but I know about it. And that's incredibly important. If they're vacationing in Costa Rica, and as most people do, get curious about real estate, they can look at property in Costa Rica. Right? Our mobile app works in 30 countries, 30 additional countries worldwide. I couldn't tell you what they all are, but there are 30 additional countries. We're adding new countries every month. So you actually go in and type in Spain and zoom in on Spain, you'll see listings for sale. So I want you to go in. I want you to look at properties. I want you to save properties. There are things that are called collections, because what you're going to do tomorrow is that you're going to see that all that activity you did is now tied to your account inside a command. So that's why it's important to go play with that today. So that as you're getting it with your consumers, right, you can't ask them to use something you don't know how to use. And the cool thing is, if you just uploaded it the first time, what did it do? It stepped you through how to use it, right? It showed you how to look at properties. It walked you through like a little tutorial the first time, unless you already had it downloaded. First time you download it, it's KW Realty or KW Buy and Sell. Yeah, it should be white with a red KW, a white icon with a red KW. All right, so that's another one of your action steps for today, is to play with that app and get comfortable with it. Does that sound good?
Yes.
All right.
I have a question.
Mhm.
My license is saying to be determined, but I'm licensed. So how do I change that?
That's in your command. So it's either in your command profile, you probably put TBD, or somebody who built it for you put TBD and didn't actually put in your license. So we're going to talk about that in a bit, about where you put information that will update those things.
Okay.
Good question. I'm glad you noticed it. So this is another thing, right? Knowing what your online digital twin looks like is incredibly important. It kind of leads me to another example. Have you guys ever looked yourself up online to see what's out there?
Yes.
If you don't, you should. And as business owners, you should do it probably a couple times a year. And when you do it, I challenge you to do it through another lens, meaning don't use your computer, because your computer cookies your results and says, oh, I assume this is what you're looking for. So do it on another computer, or do it through what's called incognito, right? Which is a way to look at things where you're not tracking. And I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole, but it's not as complicated as it sounds. And you should know what's out there about you. So here's a perfect example. And if you do it, if you want to, go ahead. But if you actually Google David Donaldson, you'll see that I'm convicted of murder in Florida. Right? That's an important fact to know. Right? That I have a digital twin that's not me, that committed a felony. I have a fairly common name. Right? So if you have a common name, those things will happen. So you need to be able to answer those things, right? Because your consumer, and you make a joke about whatever that is, right? I've learned to be very careful in my classes. Like I used to tell this story and I would just pull people out of the audience. And one day I just grabbed an agent and was on the call. And I'm like, look, so if I look up so-and-so online, this is what I would find about them. And I shouldn't have done it. It went okay. But this person was a former cheerleader for a professional football team. So put up some very pictures of her in her dance wear, which I probably shouldn't have done in a class, but I wasn't aware of what I was looking up. She was okay with it and she knew about it, but those are the types of things you need to know about yourself too, right? What do I look like to the general public? Because what happens is they're going to look you up before they talk to you. More times than not, they will look you up online before they talk to you. Oh, there's a future realtor right there. What up? Does that make sense to you guys, right? You guys all do that, right? You Google people, right? Well, people are Googling you. What do you look like online? When I talked earlier about those other websites that are free that I want you to take advantage of, Zillow.com, Realtor.com, Homes.com, Houses.com, Facebook.com, Instagram. The reason they're powerful is because you can put your name out there for free. And when you Google your name, that's what will populate on the first resource page of Google. People don't go past the first page. Heck, people even go below the fold. You don't show up on the first page of Google, you do not exist. Scary but true, yes? Right? Do you go 3 pages deep when you're looking for something on Google, or do you stop? You stop. So control the narrative. If you have a fairly common name like myself, that narrative is a little bit more difficult to control. Okay? So be conscious of that. Sound good?
Mhm.
All right. Control the narrative. All right. Let's go into the next one. $10:00. Doing good on time.
10,
Sir,
10.
sorry. Are you going to show us how to change the TBD or in command, put our license number?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I have a
Right.
question.
Oh, go ahead.
So in in the app that consumers use to browse, this may be something that's answered later, but is there a way for them to see like what's contingent, or is that based on the, like, let's say I'm working with a buyer, is that based on the listing agent updating it in the MLS? Because I see some that say pending and they are, but then there are some that don't say pending, but in the MLS, they're actually contingent. So is there a way to
Well,
see
you have
that?
you have to understand that it's a national search, right? Pending and contingent are 2 different things depending on where we are licensed,
Okay.
right? So it's impossible for the app to process all the different MLSs and all the different states definitions of contingent, under contract, contingent with contingencies, or pending. Right? So it looks at pending or under contract as pending. And if it's contingencies, it's AWC. So therefore it's still active with contingencies. It's going to show active.
Okay. That makes perfect sense. All right. Thank you.
That's a great question. but it's not a simple answer, right? Right, because we allow active with contingencies in Virginia. Not every state does.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
So
Thank
it's
you.
either, it can't get to that sub level. It's either active or under contract, which is pending, or sold, right? Because there's actually, believe it or not, on your app now, you can go in, you can look, it'll show you sold data. So you can go in and see the recent activity, which is valuable too.
Okay.
Good question, good question. Okay, so now we're gonna log into Command. Okay, so now for the next, last 45 minutes, gonna walk you through Command setup. That's gonna make this week successful for you guys and answer some of those other questions you guys had around the profile, okay? So what I want you to do is go to agent.kw.com. Agent.kw.com. And log in with your user ID and password. This is Command, okay? Agent.kw.com.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a walking tour here. And I can tell you, every time I'm streaming, it's a little bit slow to respond. So I apologize for any latency that we may experience, but that's my home bandwidth issues. So inside of Command, if you remember, I talked about the cell phone example in the beginning, okay? And I want you to think about the Command, not only as leverage for you, but it is a platform. Okay. It's not, some people say, oh, it's a CRM. No, it's a platform that has a CRM. A CRM is a customer database. Okay. So one function of Command is that it has the database. Okay. But it has a lot more to it than that too. Right. In your world, in your business world, right? What do? Call people, we email people, we text people, right? We set reminders, we set meetings, we have appointments, we create flyers, we upload listings, we write contracts, we get signatures. We build pipelines, right? We post social media, we advertise, we market, we have a website, we have a mobile app, okay? In a traditional brokerage or a traditional, for those of you that have been in business a little while, you might have multiple platforms to do all of those tasks. Is that true? Like I recognize Whitney, she was asking questions that let me believe she's been in business. I know that Marlena was asking questions of me that she's been in business a little bit while. If you've been with somebody else other than KW, you probably run your business through multiple channels. Is that fair to say? In Command,
Absolutely.
what they're attempting to do for you is make your life, and it's funny because for a lot of people, having everything inside of one platform is harder than having it across multiple. Don't know why, it just is, right? I know how to run that one component of business. I know how to run that component of my business. You put everything under one umbrella and it becomes overwhelming for people. The attempt is,
I think it's so convenient.
it is convenient, but I will tell you, for a lot of people, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to go. I get it. I do. And that's why I spend so much time on day one showing you where to go and do bite-sized approach to I'll get there. Because at the end of this week, you're not going to be there. But that's okay. Don't put that type of pressure on yourself, all right? So here's what Command does. I'm gonna give you a walking tour here. So when you go to Command, on the left-hand side, you see what we, right? And again, if you use the phone example where we have apps, on the left-hand side are what we call applets, right? That's what those are, they're applets. They're different functionalities inside of Command that I can do to achieve something. If you click on the red KW in the upper left-hand side, they pop out, okay? Or if I just hover over the icon, then it tells me what the name is, just so you know. So there's the home page. Every time you log in, you're going to be on the home page. It's called your dashboard. Then you've got contacts. I'm sharing my screen. You guys are seeing that, right? No? See, that's why I ask. If you ever hear me talking
I see your
and
face.
not seeing what I'm showing you, say, hey, Dave, you're not screen sharing, because I turn it on and off sometimes. Let's try that again. There we go. Seeing it now? All right.
Yes.
Excellent. You don't ever be afraid to be like, what you're saying isn't on the screen. That's all right. All right, here we go. On the left-hand side are the applets. All right. And each applet. So I'm on the home screen. You always land on the home screen when you log in. It's where you always get to first. Then as you walk your way down the page on the left-hand side, you've got contacts. Contacts is your database. We're going to take a deep dive into contacts tomorrow. Okay, that's the most important element out of all of Command is your database. Right, you gotta feed it. All right, gotta have contact information for people. So we'll talk about that. Then we have tasks. What am I supposed to do today? Who am I supposed to call? Who am I supposed to text? Who do I have appointments with? Right? Those are tasks. And you receive task notifications through your mobile app on your phone or push notifications, okay? Smart plans, which we will also dive into tomorrow. And I'll be teaching contacts and smart plans tomorrow. Smart plans is automated communication. Okay. The nice thing about it is it's not generically automated communication. It's deliberate, purposeful, and intentional. Okay. That you control the narrative. We create things for you, or you can create things on yourself, or you can utilize things that other agents have built for you. But we'll talk through that tomorrow. What goes out once a week? What goes out once a day? What goes out once a month? Whatever. How long do these things cycle? Some people may call them drip plans. We call them smart plans. 8x8, 36 touch. Different vernacular may have heard in the real estate world. That's what a smart plan is. Reminders to do something for you personally or things that you will send out to your consumer. Okay, this is smart plans. Referrals. We'll jump in on the referrals on Friday after the DocuSign class. But referrals is an incredible part of your business. Okay, especially for newer agents, right? Embrace the idea of referrals because generating new local business for you to buy and sell for consumers is hard. But you have a network of people where you either used to live or you grew up or used to work with it, maybe outside of where you're licensed, that you can refer business to. So part of that mobile app experience is getting that in the hands of everybody you know, not just everybody you know that's local to you. Right. So if I had Lilia using my mobile app in California and I knew about it, I'll probably call her and be like, hey, I know you look at all these properties in San Bernardino. She's like, yeah, you know, how you doing? I'm like, awesome. I was like, and you get that connection first. And she's like, yeah, I'm moving. I'm like, well, you know, I saw that you were looking and I know some people out there, or I can help introduce you to somebody out there. Would you like me to do that? Right. I have the ability to kind of screen and I can set you up on a couple of appointments or just give you just contact information. Consumers find that incredibly helpful. Right. And what I realized early on in my career, I was getting a lot of phone calls from people that knew I was a realtor. Right. I would get calls from Texas and Alabama and Arizona and Pennsylvania saying, hey, I'm under contract and my realtor said XYZ. What do you think? Well, I can't give any advice in that environment, right? You cannot comment on those things. So I can really help them. But I realized that, you know what, if I was more proactive about this approach and they're already asking me questions, if I was more deliberate about saying, hey, you know what, at some point in time in your life, you're probably going to do something. If you reach out to me first, I can help you. I can help introduce you to people. I have a network of people around the world that I can introduce you to. And even if a very small percentage then took you up to it, what would your world look like if you had 6 to 10 referrals a year? Right? My last 5 checks, because I'm mostly in a referral-based business now because of the training. Last year, I got almost $20,000 in referral checks. That's nothing to sneeze at. Right. The last big one that I sent was down in Naples, Florida. They bought almost a $2 million house. And I got 25% of the 3% transaction. It's nothing to sneeze at. So be deliberate about your referral-based business. Be conscious of that. Be deliberate with your consumers and get them using your mobile app, regardless of where they live. Okay. So we'll jump into referrals on Friday. Opportunities we'll talk about on Thursday. Opportunities is your pipeline. What do I have closing 30, 60, 90 days? What does my future business look like? What's 6, 9, 12, 18 months out? Some people call them leads. They're actually called opportunities. Okay. What does my business pipeline look like? Whether you've been in the business a while or you're new to the business, what you have to remember is that your pipeline is also worth value. Right? What if you want to retire? What if you want to sell your business? What if you want to transfer your business? Can you do that? Sure you can. What's the value of that? Well, what's the value of your database? all your contacts are in there and you have a pipeline of business that's justifiable and you can show it to another agent, it's easy to quantify what a buyout might look like. A lot of agents don't do that. I'm starting to have conversations with agents now that are getting out of the business. And I showed them what their business might be worth and how they coordinate with other agents about transitioning out of their business. They never thought of those things. You're a business owner. That's why all those other companies were buying our business partners, because they want your data. They want your business. That's why we're protecting you. That's important. Campaigns. It's communication on multiple channels, right? So we talked about Facebook, we talked about Twitter, we talked about Instagram, we talked about Google Ads. There's pay-per-click advertising. You guys have all heard about it. You've all experienced it, right? Because you see it every day, right? Amazon's listening. Facebook is listening, and you realize they're not. Google is listening. I can tell you how many times I say the word Google and Alexa turns on in the kitchen, right? They're listening. That's why you see the advertising that you see. So you also, part of your business, you have the ability to advertise your listings, your open houses on social media. There's a campaign, we call those campaigns, which is lead generation. I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay. Or it might be an email distribution that goes out to your consumers. Maybe you send out a newsletter, or maybe you send out direct mail, or maybe you just do a generic social post on your business page, which doesn't cost you anything. Those are campaigns. That's communication through social media for the most part. Or those are campaigns. Reports. Where am I at year to date? How much business am I doing this month? How many people have I talked to? Have I set my goals? Let me ask you this. We're now, and most market centers have done it already, but some of you are relatively new. Have you sat down? Have you set your goals for 2023? Give me a digital thumbs up if you guys have set your goals for next year. Awesome. Did you set your goals inside a command for next year? Did you know that you could set your goals in command for next year? Right? Because you can. Right? If you want to make $100,000, there's a series of questions that command's going to ask you, and I'll show you that, of how to set those goals and how to track, am I on track for my goals? You got to be accountable, right? We talked about an accountability of one, that's you. Are you accountable to yourself? Are you tracking your goals? Awesome. Designs. Has anybody heard of Canva?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Canva is a design tool. Some people love it. I used to love it. I used to use it all the time, but now I use our own version. It's not Canva per se, but it's essentially the same thing. Flyers, social media posts, infographics, newsletters, listing and buyer presentations for print and for online posting. And the great thing, the biggest difference between ours and Canva, okay, is that once the listings are active, we pull all the listings from the MLS, all of them, not just yours, not just the market centers, all of them. Okay, so all the pictures are preloaded. Right, so if you put a new listing in the MLS with all your pictures, now you can generate a flyer at the click of a mouse that pre-populates with the content, the information, and the data, okay, and the pictures that you can just post into a template. That's a big difference from Canva. Or you can start something from scratch, or you can use one of the 2,000 different templates that we provide for you, because time is money. Not everybody's a graphic designer. Not everybody wants to be. I'm graphically challenged. I'm not great at that, right? It's not my skill set. So I like somebody else built them, and all I have to do is swap things in. Most people fall into that category. You build a team, you got a big enough business, you might have somebody that's doing that for you, which is great. There's leverage in them utilizing this tool because it saves them time. So that's designs. We'll dive into that on Wednesday. Campaigns and designs we will cover on Wednesday. Listings, I told you, right? So all the listings that are in the MLS are in your tool. So you have the same ability, like, so if you've been in the business, you probably have used Bright to send listings to your consumers, right? Or whatever board you belong to, depending on where you are in Virginia. You set them up on a listing alert search through the MLS. You can actually do that through a command. And the value of that is I don't have to go into Bright and log in and see what they're doing. It all comes in the command. It updates about so it's a half hour behind what the MLS is, which 2 years ago was a challenge. So I would still tell people to use MLS because things were popping that fast, right? So I would say, hey, if you're in a buy now mode, you might still want to use the MLS. Now we're kind of slowing down a little bit. It's up to you whether you do both. If they're in a buy mode now, maybe, but you could still tell the system, hey, the moment a listing goes active, notify my client. And there's going to be about a half-hour lag time. So that's about as fast as I can get it to go. But we could set safe searches for our consumers. That's listings. Right? We have all that data provided. And then lastly, it's consumer, right? There's a website that's set up in the background. So you guys have all had your websites. We'll look at that a little bit later, or your Market Center Tech Trainer will go through that. But you all have a website. I focus more on the mobile app than the website itself, but you do have a website, and we're getting ready to drop a new one probably first quarter next year. That'll be more digitally enhanced and have a blogging platform, just be version generation 2. That'll be more engaged. But the cool thing about it is think of it as what we call the Netflix experience, right? So if you're on Netflix on your phone, right? If you're anything like me, I'll do an open house, and open house is slow. So what I do, I'll start watching something on Netflix. And the moment I start trying to get into something, I'm going to walk in the door. That's what I always did for myself. And I'd have to turn Netflix off and do work. But when I come home, I can go to my TV and turn Netflix on, and it knows where I left off, right? No, that's the smart database. It's the Netflix experience. Where your consumer's application for search is the same way. If they're at desktop at work and they're searching for property on your website, and then they leave and they go out in the field and they open up the mobile app knows what they were looking at. Anything they save, those searches are going to surface there too. So it talks to each other. So that's the consumer experience, plus other things in a little bit more detail. So those are all the things that we're going to cover for you, or almost all the things we'll cover you either in depth or on the surface level this week. Sound good?
Yes.
All right. So let's kind of look at a couple more things about the setup and configuration. So on this homepage, right, I'm still on my homepage. I had these what are called widgets. You see tasks, you see product updates, you see my activities, you see database health, you see leads. Your screen looks different, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, you control that, right? Customization is key. What you want to see is different than what I may want to see. That's okay, right? If you're on a team, that may vary what your team wants you to see. It's okay too. So on the right-hand side, you see where it says customize home?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you control that. But before we go there, I want you to turn something on. So we're going to go on the upper right-hand side. You see where it says your name? On the upper right-hand side, you might have to move the camera around or move the little boxes, because that usually surfaces on the upper right-hand side. So move the zoom boxes. On the upper right-hand side, there's a customize home button, or above the customize home button is a drop-down. If you click on that drop down, you're going to see the words profile, settings, command training, and log out. You guys all see that?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to skip profile for right now, and I'm going to come back to that. I want you to click on the word settings. Okay. So settings is going to take you into the back end. I'm going to turn some things on. Now, every day we're going to go into settings, because we're going to turn different things on for different elements that we're working on. I don't want to do everything all at once. It gets a little overwhelming. Okay. On the left-hand side, you see command settings. Everybody with me? We went to settings. We came to the screen. We went to the left. We clicked on command settings, and there is a reporting button. If you click on that drop down, it says reporting, and then it says activity tracking. Everybody see that? I want you to click on activity tracking. And I want you to turn it on. Okay. On the upper right-hand side, there's a green button. If it's white, it's just because it's not turned on yet. Click that toggle and turn it on.
Okay.
Now, as you scroll down the page, the first thing it says is reminder settings. When do you want to receive the reminder? Basically, what I'm having you turn on now is an accountability tracking tool for you to use in your business. Right? Are you going to track every day the amount of people you called, how many appointments you had? Right? You should, whether you do or not. I can't force you to do it, but this tool will encourage you to do it. So if you put a time here, when do I want this daily reminder to come out? Right? So at 7 o'clock each night, I want to be reminded to put my data into my system. You can do whatever time you want. Maybe you want to do it at 4 o'clock as you're wrapping up your day, 5 o'clock, whatever, doesn't matter. right? And so I want to be reminded at 4, but I should have it in by 5. Right? That way I know it's done every day. And I can set myself up a reminder if I don't do it. That's all I'm telling the system right now. Then what days of the week do you want to receive these reminders? Do you want them every day? Do you want them just during business days? You run your business, right? How often do you want to be accountable to yourself? Now, is there anybody in here that is on a team? If you're on a team, your Rainmaker would have set this up for you. They're going to say what days you're supposed to turn things in if they're using the tool. If they're not, I highly encourage that they do, right? But they will control that. And then days off, right? There are holidays in the system, right? That you may, hey, holiday, I'm going to receive notification because I'm off. Well, realtors usually work most holidays. So that's up to you to decide whether you report your own data or not. And you can edit your calendar. So it's going to give you standard holidays. And you can go in there and edit your days off. Maybe you want to turn off for vacations and things like that. You can do that. So that's all this on this setup screen. The moment you turn this on, hit save changes at the bottom of the screen. Okay, it'll say changes saved. And then when you come back out to your dashboard, right, click on the little house on the left-hand side, it'll bring you back to your home page. Okay, now what you will see is that you won't see the activity widget yet, because we have to now tell the system, I want to see it. Okay, and what you can do is click that customize home button. Remember, see that custom? So everybody's on the dashboard now, and there's that customize home button at the top. Do you all see that?
Yes.
Click on customize home. I'll give my screen a second to load. On the left-hand side, it will say select widgets. They're checkboxes. That's just basically saying turn this on or off, right? So depending on who you are, what do you want to see, you control that, right? I like having my tasks turned on. I like having, we'll talk about database health score tomorrow with context. I like having my health score turned on. I like having product updates turned on. If you're running leads, right, which is pay-per-click leads, you might want to turn that on. We can cover that in a little bit more detail when we go over campaigns, but you may or may not. Notes I don't have turned on because I don't track notes on my dashboard that way, but it's just a note-taking thing. We'll put that on. The moment you check them on, then on the right side, okay, you're going to see them listed. Just happened. There we go. Select widgets. You see, this is what I have turned on. Tasks, updates, goals, database health. I don't actually run leads right now, so I'm going to turn that off. And activity tracking. It's just what we just turned on for you. We turned on the ability for you to see it. Okay. Design updates is KW provides new marketing material. You may want to see those. So you could turn that on. Once it's turned on, like if I turn on design up, you'll see it disappears from the widget on the right. But now I can drag the order by grabbing those 6 dots, right? Those ellipses means I can move things around. That's just you controlling the order. I think you should have activity tracking on the top right-hand side. It can't be on the left because of the size of the box. It has to be on it can be on the top right. So this is how I have mine. Your choice. But I like having activity tracking, product updates, design updates, and then tasks, goals, and health. That's what my screen looks like. Click apply. And then your dashboard will change based off of whatever you just turned on. Okay? Everybody with me? Awesome. Okay, so now let me tell you what you're looking at here, right? Tasks or tasks. Who I got to call, who I got to email. My activities, what you just turned on. If you click submit, it's going to ask you a series of questions about what you did today. Did you have a good day? It's got a smiley face and a sad face. How many people did you talk today? How much time did you spend lead generating today? Did you have an appointment today? Right? Where did the people come from that you talked to? Right? Did you add all those people to your database? Did you have appointments? Did you sign agreements today? And did you write any contracts? You put this in your system every day, you're going to start to understand how your conversion, what does your conversion look like? If you don't do this every day, you have to ask yourself, are you actually working? It's the value of tracking your business, right? Who are you accountable to? Do you have a coach? If you have a coach, they're going to ask you these questions, right? Whether it's a MAPS coach, a business coach, a Buffini coach, a Maxwell coach, or just your PC coach, they're going to ask you these things. So get in the habit of reporting your own data to yourself every single day. There's value in it for you, I assure you. Okay. Now, below that are product updates. Okay. We tell you from KWRI every time there's a product release, which is relatively within every 2 weeks, we're updating or tweaking something. You'll see some sort of command update. Now, sometimes it's just functional issues. Sometimes it's bug related issues. Sometimes it's performance. It's not always a exciting buzzworthy notification, but it's just product enhancements. It's good to know that these things are happening. That's what this tells you here in the back end. So you can look at it as what's new, which is kind of like a weekly, monthly at a glance. Or if I change it from what's new to what's next, it gives you some more bigger ideas of where the system is going over the next quarter and some of the things that you might start seeing come out. These are all things that we'll talk about on Facebook. Your Market Center Tech Trainer will talk about at team meetings that will, as updates happen, we do put them out publicly for you to know. But you can also pay attention to. Design updates are here, right? Every month are newer design elements, right? Because every month there are holidays. They've got just about every single holiday I never heard of in here, which is pretty cool, right? They've got holiday designs for just about everything. You can see what's going on. We're going to talk about designs on Wednesday, but on the surface, here's just kind of some cool things that have been recently released that you might want to know about. Database health. Well, when we dive into contacts tomorrow, we're going to talk about the viability of your database, okay? People have names, people have phone numbers, people might have email addresses. That's fundamental information that you need to know to just start talking to somebody, right? You might get their home address. Right? They're all worth like 20 percentage points because we're trying to help you grade yourself. The more you get in relationship with people, you start to know things. You might know when their birthday is. You might know what social media pages they are. You're going to create tracking, what we call tags, and put people into buckets in your database. You're probably going to know where they work, right? You get more points for those types of things. So the more information you add to your database, the closer you can get your database to 100. That's your goal. I challenge you, 100 is hard, but I challenge you, depending on the amount of people in your database, but I challenge you to have a core group of about 150 to 300 people that you have at about 100%. Because if you can identify 150 people that are your core advocates, the 300 people, and by advocates, I mean like the moment they hear the word real estate or realtor, they fight for that person they're talking to have your contact information. That's how you're successful. Right? Think about this. If you had 150 advocates, I'll keep it simple. Even if you had 100 advocates, killers in your world, you pause. Let me ask you something. Have you ever hired a contractor, you had a great experience, and in the moment somebody says, hey, do you know a painter? Do you know a contractor? Do you know a designer? Do you know a paver? Do you know a landscaper? What do you do? Do you want to refer them, right?
Refer them, yeah.
You want your consumers to do that for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need them to do that for you, don't you?
Yes.
So you have to train them to do that. And that's hard, right? That's why we talk about smart plans. Like there's a rule of thumb that says in order for people to think of you the moment they think of real estate, you have to be in front of them 36 times a year. Now that may sound like a lot, but it's really not when you start thinking about all the ways you're engaged with the people. Okay. But if you could get 100 people that you're their person for real estate, you'll get 6 to 10% business out of that group of people every year. So if you did 6 to 10 deals a year just from your sphere, did you realize you'd be in the top 20% of all realtors worldwide? Most agents don't do 6 to 10 deals a year. Think about that for a second. Most professional realtors don't even do 6 to 10 deals a year. The average is actually less than 4. That's how many people have their real estate license. That's how many people don't treat this as a business. That's how much business is out there. Okay. You can grow your business very, very quickly. We've had people every year go from 0 to 30 very, very quickly. There's a belief system around how quickly I can build my business. If you believe it, you can build it. Just Sounds simple because it is simple. Right? Actually, reading a book right now I mentioned earlier. It's called Making The Magic of Thinking Big. It's just belief-based book. Asks you some very simple questions to believe in yourself. It's written by Dr. David J. Schwartz. It's actually an older book, written like the 50s and the 60s, but it still holds true today. If you do the work, you'll build your business. There's no secrets. Technology is not going to springboard you to success. Websites, pay-per-click advertising is not going to springboard you to success. Systems, models, and tools and regimentation is where you will get consistent business. Some people get lucky right out the gate and do business because there are people in their world that are just ready to go. But if they don't do the work to maintain and sustain, that success will fall off a cliff. Others will be slow to grow. Consistent, but slow. But if they're building their foundations each day, each week, each month, and consistently doing what the Red Book teaches them to do, then they can get hockey stick growth. Right? Hockey stick growth. Slowly but suddenly. Slowly but suddenly. That could be 30, 60, 90 days. That could be a year out. Right? My first year in the business, I did 8 deals, which was good business. My second year in the business, I did 29. Slowly but suddenly. Because I was consistent in what I did. Are you consistent? And I will tell you, that's even, I mean, it was a good amount of business for me. I've got agents in my market center that are doing 150 deals a year, right? Like they're at a different level of how they're running their businesses, but you can get there. Do you want to get there? Maybe you just want to do a deal a month. Okay, that's great business. But there's systems and models to success to do that, right? They're not just going to fall out of trees. If you assume that the business will come, well, we all know what happens. Speaking of assuming, I'm going to tell you this. There are people in your world that are going to do something in real estate that you assume would work with you. And then they don't. It's going to hurt. You're going to get mad. You're going to want to unfriend them on Facebook. You're going to stop following on TikToks, and you're not going to invite them to your Christmas party because you're pissed. Don't be. Ask yourself this question. How did that happen? Was I deliberate? Was I purposeful in my relationship around what I do? Did they think of you when they thought of real estate? Because if not, it's on you. If you were deliberate around your relationship, around your business, and that they know that it's a business for you and not a hobby, then it's okay to say, hey, can I ask why you didn't utilize me? It may be a very logical answer. Okay, there are people in my world that I am friends with that will not use me. We've talked about it. It's a personal choice. They did not want to open up their finances and what can be a challenging, right, stressful situation and put it in way of our friendship. I understood that. I respected that. I was okay with that. You know what I did? I said, great, can I refer you to somebody? Right? Now I already got somebody. Great. I hope it goes well. But the funny thing about it is they refer me people. So while they don't use me personally, they still refer me because they know that I'm good at what I do. They just felt that financially they did not want to be commingled that way. You don't know the rhyme or reason why people do what they do. Don't get upset by it. And I tell you, it will happen to you. If you do enough business and you do business long enough, it'll happen more frequently than you realize. And it's happened to me multiple times, and it's caused me to go back and look at how I do business. And I've absolutely walked into an appointment what I feel is that come list me or come work for me, only to have the rug pulled out from out because I did not do my job. And that's on me. So don't assume, okay? It's a hard lesson, and it will happen to you. All right. As we wrap up here, I'm going to walk you through a couple other things of what you're looking at on your dashboard and some things that I'm going to want you to do going forward for tomorrow and into the next days, okay? So I want you to go back to the top of the screen under your name again. So you see that word profile? You remember I told you have two profiles, right?
Yes.
You have a consumer facing profile and you have an agent to agent facing profile. This profile button that you see right here is your agent to agent profile button. Now, if you're brand spanking new, those profiles can be nearly identical. That's fine. But the more you're with KW, the more you do specific things in the KW world, Ignite, Bold, ALC, different things you get involved with, that story for agent to agent changes because the consumers don't know what any of those things, nor do they care. So that's where your stories diverge. But you do want to make sure that you have a complete marketing profile for your agents and a marketing profile for the consumer. So that's what I'm going to show you next. So if you go to settings, okay, let that load up. And on the left-hand side, we're going to go to command settings again. Actually, I'm sorry, connect settings, not command settings, connect settings. Under connect settings, you see it says marketing profile. That's for your consumer. That's for the general public. So if you go into that marketing profile, it's going to ask you to upload information. One of the things it's going to ask you, and some of it is asterisk, which is important information, is a headshot. So you got to have a headshot to load, okay? It's okay to get a quickie, good one from your phone to start, but you got to upload a headshot until you get your business profile shots, right? So you are going to need a headshot. You're going to scroll down, that headshot should be, formatted to 360 by 360. If you have formatting issues, that's pixel count. Market Center Tech Trainer or your photographer, just about anybody in the Market Center, ASC, DFI, could probably help you with those things, not complicated. Save as, edit the pixel size. But it's always better to go from a larger picture to a smaller picture. If you go from a smaller picture and try to expand it, it gets pixel and grainy and looks poor. So high definition down to smaller size. If you're on a team, then you're going to load the team logo, if your team has one. Your details, your name, your license information. So for those of you that were asking me earlier about, hey, it says TBD, this is where your license number goes here. Okay.
Thank you.
There you go. I think the two of you asked that question actually, right? So that's where your license information. So it probably says TBD right there. Now, when you go and change that because you download it onto your app, what you might need to do is uninstall and reinstall your app because it'll take a little bit to cycle back through, but that would help once you change that here. Okay.
Okay.
Your job title, slogan. You don't have to have a slogan. I don't actually like that. That's asterisk. So you can just put a dot or a space or something as generic as real estate. Perfect. I don't know. It's just some words I came up with. Designations and credentials. What is core? You're a realtor. Okay. I have a couple other certifications that I went and got because I found value in it. There are people that chase certifications. I'm not one of those people. I just found value in a GRI, which was advanced real estate training when I first started, and a certified negotiation expert, which I found incredibly valuable, which was a training course that was available to me in Arizona. I just took it. Some people take degrees if working with seniors, right? There are people that work for green homes. There are people that are in military, right? If you take trainings, advertise them. Get trainings that you're passionate about, that you think is valuable for you. Don't get educated training for training's sake. If you have other types of trainings, maybe you're a doctorate or a PhD, you paid for it, tell people, right? That's another reason to connect with somebody. So that's designations. Don't trip over that too much. Military affiliations. So at the moment, this surfaces on the back end only on agent to agent side. Other agents like to work with other agents that have a military history. A lot of our consumers, especially here in Northern Virginia, are military PCS, which means a permanent change of station, right? They go from military base to military base. Other agents like to work with other agents that were in the military. So here we'll ask you what your military affiliation was. Were you active duty, were you reserves, were you a veteran, or were you a military spouse? That's incredibly important too, right? So if you've been in the reserves, thank you. If you're a military spouse, I thank you for your sacrifice, right? And then put in your military service. Other agents can see that. In the future, the consumer will see that too. But right now, just the back end agents. And then you've got another bio here. We talked about bios, right? This is your consumer facing bio. So that's your story of you. Tell your story to the consumer so they can connect with you. Phone number, I don't know why all of a sudden I'm missing some data here. That's a little weird. Phone number, office phone number, right? This should all be here. Why mine is not there? That's really weird. All right, perfect example. So you see what happened here is I used some cookie settings and it changed my brokerage address to my home address. Be very careful when you're updating information. Okay, that you don't put your don't put your home address anywhere. A lot of agents will work from home, especially after COVID. A lot of people are still working from home and they think of their home office as their business address, right? And that may be where your EIN or your LLC is your home address. So therefore that's your legal business address. Don't put that online, please. You don't want somebody showing up at your house by accident looking to have a meeting with you. Right? Always make sure that wherever you put your address, it's your market center address. Safety first, right? Compliance footer. Each office independently operated, owned, and each office independently owned and operated. It's the same for everybody. Put that in there. You have to disclose that. It goes on business cards, flyers, websites. Just put it right there. Your social media pages, right? You have to have. We talked about the need for those, right? And then Google Analytics. I'll summarize this that way. If you know what Google Analytics are and you have one, you'll put that tracking ID there. If you don't know, then don't worry about it for right now, okay? Don't worry about SEO. You don't need it. If you're tracking those things, you know exactly what we're talking about. You can paste that information in there. Basically, in a nutshell, it tracks activity on your websites. Our websites, as they stand out, aren't overly SEO strong, so it's not going to drive, but some agents are doing different things to push activity, so they like to track that. So don't worry about that if you don't have it. Then when you're done filling all this in, okay, at the top of the page, there's that green toggle button. Turn it on, because here's what happens. It takes this information and it pushes it across your platform. Goes to your website, goes to your mobile app, goes to emails, stuff that's going out, right, for your consumers to communicate with you. So turn all this on so all the other applets can start to pull that data as we work day to day. So I'll remind you each day as we go through here, but this is another action step for you guys. Fill out your consumer marketing profile. Okay, put that data in there today. Questions on the profile. Straightforward and simple, right? Just fill in the blanks. Okay. Now, tomorrow's class is going to be about contacts. Okay. Contacts is the second icon down from the left. Now, in the email that you get from me today, I'm going to give you a spreadsheet. Okay. Or you can just go right now because it'll be later today. But if you really wanted to get a head start, you wanted to start to build out your data, I'm going to show you where you can get the spreadsheet that I'm going to show you. Okay. Importing data is where you have to start. Now, all of you have data somewhere, right? Depending how old you are, you might have them on a Christmas list or a holiday list somewhere on a hard drive in an Excel spreadsheet. Or you might have friends from social media, right? Or they may be on your phone, right? You've got to pull that data. You got to harvest that data, okay? And you've got to put it into an import form. You might have it in another database where you can export that data into what's called a CSV file. We can upload that information. And I'll talk to you about uploads and imports tomorrow. Your Market Center Tech Trainer can help you with that. Scott Leroy can help you with that. But pulling the data together has to happen first. You're going to gather that data to put into your database. So start pulling all that information. On the contacts page, right? Second icon down, contacts. On the upper right-hand side is the word import. Does everybody see that? On the home page, I went to contacts on the left, which is the second applet button down. I opened up my contacts applet, and on the right-hand side is the word import. When I click on that, it's going to ask me what I want to import. Okay. If you have your own CSV file, you would just drag and drop. Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you not to do that yet. We're talking more detail tomorrow about what you should be doing for a successful import. Okay. I really want you to get today is the file that if you don't have a data import form to start building. See where it says the word download template?
Mhm.
If you click on download template, it's going to download an Excel sheet for you. Okay, the Excel sheet's going to say name, first name, last name, street address, phone number, email, home address, business address, social media pages. All that's going to be on that data form. So as you're downloading, I'll kind of drag it on the screen here. Come on. There we go. This is what it looks like. Now, you need to use Excel. Okay, numbers does not work well. So if you Apple people, sorry. Apple doesn't play nice in the business world a lot of times. You're going to need to use Excel. That's your best case scenario, okay? First name, last name. Start putting in the information row by row, cut and paste, wherever you're pulling the data from. Start building this out. Whether it's 5 or 10 at a time, I don't care. Start doing it, okay? Birthday, if you can get it. I'll show you tomorrow where you can pull data from Facebook. You can get their social media pages. You can get their birth dates. There's a lot of good stuff you can pull from Facebook on an export, and I'll show you tomorrow how to get it. Okay. Don't delete any of these headers, please. It'll screw up your import. Your Excel it shouldn't have turned into a PNG. That would be a save settings on however you import it. It should have downloaded an Excel file, which would be
So if we have Apple, like I use MacBook.
right. That's what I'm saying. It'll default to numbers if you have it. You have
Right.
to have Excel. If you don't have Excel, right, then we'll have to. I'm going to email you this Excel template. Maybe you need to open another document, but numbers is a challenge. Apple's formatting is a challenge. But if you can just use any CSV file, we can upload it. I'll give you some workarounds.
Okay.
That's the challenge. I get it. And there's a lot of positives about Apple's. They're great for graphic stuff. In the business world, which you will find, Apple applications can be challenging. So we run into that. All right, so don't delete any of these headers, just add the information below. Okay. You'll see all that information, just fill in the blanks. And even if like one of these doesn't exist, don't delete the column. At the end, you see LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, source, and tags. I want you to think about tags. We'll talk more about tags tomorrow. Okay, but what I want you to think about this is how I summarize tags. What do the people in my database have in common with me or each other? Okay, what does that mean? Okay, did I go to high school with people? So I might create a tag. That was the name of my high school. Did I graduate with these people? I may create a tag with my high school, my graduating class year. Same goes for college and or fraternity. Right? Did I used to work with these people at a different job? And that different job might be a tag, right? Pitney Bowes, right? Do I know them from Philadelphia? Do I know them from Arizona? Do I know them from Virginia? So the region that they're from might become a tag. Do I know them from church? I have a church tag. Do I know them from Little League? Because honestly, when you start to have children, if you have children, most of your life is revolving around meeting people because of your children, right? So I have an entire database full of people from hockey, from Little League, from soccer, from basketball. I tag those people that way because that's how I know where I met them, right? Here's an example of why that's valuable. So when I advertise a listing that might be close to a hockey rink, I put out a notice to people that are involved with hockey that might want to live closer to the hockey rink, right? So I can filter my database around tags. I want you to start thinking about tags in your world that you might want to create. We'll show you how to create them tomorrow. There's generic tags that are in the system already for you, like client tags, past, bought or sold, past client, right? Things like that. That's going to be in the system. So don't worry about that. But what do these people have in common with you or each other that you might tag them around? Is there anybody on the call that's a Buffini person? And Buffini is a tracking type of mindset. They use A's, B's, and C's and VIPs. You can build A's, B's, and C's, right? Your PC coach might talk to you about we call the daily 2, which is organizing my database by people's last names, because I'm going to call through systematically. There's no limit to the type of tags you can create. They just have to make sense to you. So I'll give you some more examples tomorrow, but I really want you to do is just kind of pencil out as you're working on the names of the people in your world, right? That where did I know them from? And start building your tag list that way. And I'll teach you how to add tags to the system tomorrow. It's very simple, but I want you to go through the process of actually writing it down to think it through. Because I think you need to be deliberate and purposeful about organizational structure to your world. Otherwise it gets messy, right? I don't want you creating things on the fly, right? Because what happens is you'll be like me, right? I may call Dulles Little League a tag, but I also have a tag called baseball. No, they're the same thing. I have a tag that says hockey, but I also have tags by the clubs that they belong to. Well, it's relatively the same. I have church, but I also have the Presbyterian Church of Olney. It's the same thing. So I have to be careful about how redundant I get things in my world. So be careful. So we'll talk about that, okay? So it's 11 o'clock. I hope you found this fundamentally important to kind of set you guys up for success for the rest of the week. As I mentioned, yes, this is recorded. You will get an email today from me with the slide deck. I know I didn't use a whole lot of the slide deck, but I said yet. It'll be a list of all the links that we went through, most of them. Not all those Facebook links are on there. So that's why I was telling you to kind of click through those. And that's kind of it. Any other questions before I let you guys go for today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did the put my license number in, but it still doesn't show it. And I closed down the app and opened it back up again, but it still won't, it still says to be determined.
It may just take time to cycle through.
Mm.
It may, some things because they're on other platforms don't happen instantaneously.
Okay.
Anybody else? All right, then I will see you all bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, cameras on, fresh hot coffee tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Okay, play with your mobile app tonight. Start pulling your list of people in your world so you can start organizing that and be proactive in building out your business. Okay.
Okay.
Have
Thank
a
you
great
so
day, everybody. I'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
you.